But then the issue is, when I drink, like any substance, and I put that in my body, I have no control.
Yeah.
And other normal people could just go home after they've had a pint. Well, I can't. At the height of my addiction, I would use until I was either in hospital or I was seriously ill.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be there anymore. But I just couldn't stop.
Yeah. Right, so what's your name?
Adam Yearsley.
Where are you from?
Halifax, West Yorkshire.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
Okay, so Adam, tell us a bit about your upbringing, your childhood. Was it a good childhood, or how would you describe it?
Yeah, so I had a really good upbringing. Got a really supportive family. My mum and dad divorced when I was young, but you know, compared to a lot of people that I met in addiction,
Yeah.
I had the support there. We had good holidays.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we was well looked after with everything I ever wanted. I always played football and I had a good school.
You getting into much trouble or anything like that?
Yeah, I always sort of remember being young and I was really naughty. I've got a sister and she was really good, but I always remember I was always getting into bother.
Yeah.
But I was academically quite good and clever. But there was just always something there missing.
So when did drugs start coming into the picture then? How old were you when you said that?
So I'd probably say about 14-year-old.
And that was?
A bit of weed and drinking.
Did you instantly, straight away, think this is for me? I love this, or how did you feel?
Yes, I did. So, like I said, I was probably, when I went into secondary school, I was good. I was doing well in my classes. I was academical, like you said, because my sister's a few years above me and she was, so the sort of teacher expected me to be like that. I felt a bit out of place. I want one of the cool kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I seen the cool kids, what I thought were cool, doing these things, and I wanted a bit of it. But, like you said, it was a release for me. When I did it to fit in. Yeah. And I loved that feeling of what it were doing. It was giving me reputation, it was giving me people to like me.
Yeah, a lot of people say that they start taking drugs because they don't like the person they are, do they? And
yes,
would you agree with that?
I do agree with that. I do agree. The more I've been in this now, I realise it's the issue with me. I didn't feel like I fit in, you know. I was always so wary of people liking me. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it doesn't really matter at that time that I took drinking drugs. I'd have done whatever they were doing. Yeah. Just to be liked. So unfortunately for me, that's what they were doing at that age. And
how did things progress then as we got through the years?
So I had a good sort of friendship group after school. I had a good friend, there were three of us, and one of them committed suicide during drugs. But again, that wasn't enough to sort of put me off, as bad as it sounds. But what I've tended to notice how it progressed is I had a lot of friendship groups that loved me and cared for me as a person. And I, at this time, never knew I was an addict, but I was always the last one. You know, it progressed onto cocaine and a lot of booze, and then it would affect in work and all relationships that I had that always left me during addiction because of the lying, the cheating, the stealing. Yeah. But like you just said, I noticed now, looking back, a clear picture of it progressing. Every sort of friend or person I cared about me just slowly left. But because they had to. Yeah. Because they didn't want to see me destroy myself.
So what would you say your drug of choice is then? If you had them all laid out in front of you, what was the first one you'd go to?
So for me, I like a drink. I've always liked to drink. I don't know. That always entwines for me of the social side of fitting in. I've liked to drink, and I've realised it wasn't, again, the factor of I like to drink. I like to go out and drink with people because I felt I fitted in and it was social and I felt released and acceptable. Yeah. So that would be my go-to. But then the issue is, when I drink, like any substance, and I put that in my body, I have no control. Yeah. And other normal people could just go home after they've had a pint. Well, I can't. At that moment in time, that is my choice, and coke is my drug of choice once I've had a drink. Yeah. But for me, it doesn't matter what it is. If it made me feel different in myself, at that time I would have taken it. Yeah.
So what would you say in the average day of the height of your addiction, the worst it's got, what would you say a day in your life look like from start to finish?
So, it's an horrible place to be in. it's just lying and deceit. You're living in chaos. From the moment you wake up, you've already built all this massive lies around you, and you're just living in a different world, and you just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
I'd be doing anything I can to either have a drink or score. You know, I would hurt people I love, which I would never do if I was clean and in recovery.
Yeah.
It didn't matter who or what was in my way, they would get hurt because it's my master and it controlled me.
Yeah.
But it would be anything from going to the pub, blobbing off work, trying to blag my family for money or my partners, friends, reaching out to people, just manipulating them to get what I could. And if I couldn't do that, then I'd have to find some other master plan how to get what I needed.
Yeah.
And I would just, at the height of my addiction, I would use until I was either in hospital or I was seriously ill.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to be there anymore, but I just couldn't stop.
Yeah. What would you say the rock bottom was then, the lowest point of your addiction?
The lowest point of my addiction for me was my wife left me, and you know I just couldn't stop. I wasn't living for me anymore. I was living for my wife for a long time, but I couldn't stop myself doing what I was doing. So then the issue arose that when she did leave me, it really got bad, because then I thought, well, no, I'm not living for her.
Yeah.
What am I living for?
Yeah.
And that was the lowest point for me. I was couch surfing on people's houses that weren't good for me. I was my family, you know, nothing against them. I reached out to them, but they were there for me, but they couldn't help me, and they knew that I could only help myself, which I didn't know at the time. But I saw that as that they were abandoning me, and it really hurt. And I was just then my using was no longer enjoyable. I was using because I wanted to kill myself, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's a lot of what other people's answers. It's nothing to do with the drugs. It's what the effect drugs have in the fact that you've got no one, the loneliness. Do you know what I mean? We've got no one to turn to because you've burnt all them bridges. Yeah. That's a lot of people's answers as well.
It is, and that's where it will go for everyone.
Yeah.
That's whether you're just starting off or you're at the depths of despair now. That's where it ends. Yeah. I've seen it many of times, and me personally, never thought I would get to that, but you don't. But I did.
Yeah.
And like you said, speaking to a lot of people, you know, you tend to find people in recovery, they are really loving, kind souls. Deep down, we've just got trauma and issues with ourselves, and we use on that. But we don't actually have, you know, the courage to actually kill ourselves. But we want to. So what we do is we use until hopefully that will end it for us.
Yeah.
Because we don't see a path out.
Yeah. So moving on to a more positive note then. How did you come across recovery? How did you come across reflections? How did that work?
So, like I said, after my wife sort of left me and I left the house, I did sort of ask my family if I could sort of go there, and I couldn't, and I'm fully understanding of why they couldn't help me. So I was sort of couch surfing, and I've always had people to fall back on and rely on, and I didn't this time, you know. So I know a friend, Darren Gibson, who was in here, and he basically reached out to me. He knew where I was, and he got me in. And he would just told me about it all and stuff, and I came for an assessment, and I was in a really bad place, and they could see that, and they really helped me out and managed to get me in as soon as they could.
Yeah. And are you happy with how things have turned out, or?
Yes.
In other words, sorry, do you prefer your life where you were, or do you prefer life now?
Oh, 100%. I prefer it now. There's no hands down about it. I still remember that place I was in. I always will, but it's a healthy fear that.
Yeah.
I am full of gratitude for this place. It's hands down saved my life. I would have ended up using it till I was dead.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted at that time. because I was just full of so much pain and hurt. And this place addresses the issues. They know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
They address, you know, you have to change your life. You have to have a psychic change, a spiritual change, and they help you do that. The support's amazing. The people here, they've been through it. There's so many like-minded people here, and they have. And my life now, I'm just grateful for the fact of not waking up and worrying about how I'm going to score or wanting to score.
Yeah.
The main thing for me is I can put my head on that pillow at night and know I'm not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
And what was hurting me was hurting everyone I loved, but I couldn't stop doing that. So on me knowing this, I haven't felt peace like this since I was young.
Yeah.
Because the main thing in my life for me is the people I love. I want them to be happy, and I know that I'm not hurting them.
Yeah. Last question then. If you had a message to someone who was in your position, who was struggling with addiction now, who's watching this, what would your message be?
My message would be that there is help out there. There's help. There's this place. It's absolutely amazing. There's many places about. You probably are going to be thinking that there's no way out. I've been there for years, but there is. There's so many people that have not only helped me get better, but they've helped hundreds of people get better.
Yeah.
And it's proven. It's proven. Reach out, speak out. People love about you. People support you. People care about you. There's nothing wrong. It takes a big person to ask for help. Ask for help, and help will be provided for you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.